Have you ever felt confused about doing everything right, keeping a balanced diet, exercising regularly, following the advice of doctors, and even then noticing that your legs are getting weaker? That climbing stairs seems increasingly challenging, as if the steps are higher? That lifting from a chair takes more effort than before? Many believe that this is just an inevitable sign of aging, but what if the root of the problem is in something you consume every day, without suspecting that it may be doing wrong? The answer may surprise. Because, contrary to what many people think, the problem is not always what you failed to do, but rather what you continue to do without realizing the hidden damage. There is a silent error that most elderly people make every day. A seemingly harmless habit, practiced with conviction, because we have been taught all our life that it is healthy. We are talking about fruits. Yes, the same fruits that carry the fame of being natural, full of vitamins and essential for a long life. But the reality is that not all of them are friends of health in old age. Some, even being consumed with the best of intentions, may be undermining your muscle strength, affecting your joints and sabotaging your mobility little by little. And the most dangerous? Is that it happens without visible symptoms at first. You think you are taking care of your body, when in fact you are slowly weakening the base of your movement, the legs. As we age, our body undergoes profound transformations. Circulation is no longer as efficient, metabolism slows down and the body becomes more sensitive to certain food components, especially those that influence sugar levels and inflammation. Some fruits, however sweet and innocent they may seem, hide high levels of acids, fructose, and compounds that accelerate joint inflammation. This is reflected directly in the pain in the knees, discomfort when walking, and instability of the legs. The most alarming thing is that the impact of these fruits is cumulative. Day after day, they erode your strength, drain your energy, and compromise your mobility without you noticing. Until one day, climbing a simple flight of stairs becomes an exhausting task. Today you will discover the truth behind the fruits that most harm the health of your legs after 60 years. There are 7 varieties that, although they seem healthy, can be the real villains behind their loss of stability, joint pain, and muscle weakness. If you want to maintain your independence, keep moving safely, and protect your legs from irreversible damage, this information is essential. Get ready to rethink everything you believed about healthy eating. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you are about to discover may be the turning point to regain your vitality, preserve your strength, and ensure a future with more freedom and less pain. His body needs this revelation, and perhaps this is the message he has been waiting for years. But before we dive into this transformative knowledge, already leave your like, sign up for the channel, activate the bell to not miss any valuable health tips, and share this video with who you care. Let's talk about a fruit that, at first glance, seems to be a true ally of health, but which may be sabotaging your legs without you noticing. We are talking about the pineapple. This tropical fruit is vibrant, refreshing, and often celebrated for containing bromelain, an enzyme with a reputation as a natural anti-inflammatory. But here's the blind spot: despite all the praise, pineapple can cause exactly the opposite effect on people over 60. This is because, in addition to bromelain, pineapple also carries 2 elements that become dangerous with advancing age: high levels of acidity and a large load of natural sugars. These 2 factors, combined with the changes in our body as we age, form a treacherous combination for the health of your legs. See, what few people know is that blood vessels become more fragile and less efficient over the years. The metabolism no longer deals with sugars in the same way, and the glycemic peaks caused by sweet foods, even natural ones like pineapple, can cause a real silent damage. When you eat this fruit, blood sugar levels rise rapidly. This directly impacts the circulation in the extremities of the body, precisely in the legs, ankles, and feet. The result? A compromised blood flow, reduced muscle oxygenation, and the appearance of pain, swelling, and heaviness in the legs after simple day-to-day activities. At first glance, you may find that you are just more tired. But in fact, your body is signaling that something in your diet is compromising your mobility. And the problem doesn't stop there. In addition to sugar, pineapple is highly acidic. For those who live with inflammation, joint pain, or have already received a diagnosis of arthritis, this factor can be even more harmful. The acid present in this fruit can aggravate inflammatory processes in the knees, hips, and ankles, increasing stiffness and making even the simple act of standing uncomfortable. Many elderly people report a feeling of heaviness in the legs or progressive loss of muscle strength after frequent pineapple consumption. This is because the impact is slow and cumulative. It does not appear wide open or immediate. Instead, it will infiltrate your daily life, until walking for a few meters becomes tiring and you start to avoid movements that before seemed natural. And if you use medications, especially anticoagulants, it is important to pay even more attention. Bromelain can directly interfere with the action of these drugs, enhancing their effects or making them less effective, which can be dangerous. The big problem is that pineapple is a health trap. It does not cause aggressive reactions immediately after consumption. There is no fever, acute pain, or immediate swelling. But its effects accumulate over time, gradually eroding their mobility and hindering muscle and joint regeneration. And the saddest? Most of the elderly do not even suspect that the increasing weakness in the legs may have a direct connection with this fruit that they consume with good intention. So, what to do? It is not necessary to eliminate pineapple completely, but it is essential to understand its risks and rethink its frequency of consumption, especially if you already feel persistent pain or swelling. Now, if even a fruit with anti-inflammatory fame can cause so much negative impact, imagine what could be behind the next one on our list. It is flexible, tasty, and loaded with potassium, famous for giving energy and strengthen the muscles. But do you really know the effects of this fruit on your body? Let's talk about the banana. Soft, sweet, and often remembered as a superfood for muscles, it is almost a symbol of health. But the truth is that, especially for those over 50, this fruit may be doing exactly the opposite of what you expect. Packed with natural sugars and fast-digesting carbohydrates, bananas trigger spikes in blood glucose soon after being consumed. When this process is repeated frequently, your body begins to resist insulin, which weakens circulation and ignites the flame of inflammation. You feel the reflection of this in the legs, pain when walking, feeling of weight after meals, and stiffness in the calf muscles. Now let's talk about a fruit that many consider a symbol of summer and hydration: watermelon. Light, sweet, refreshing, it seems to be the perfect food to combat heat and keep the body hydrated. Composed of more than 90% water and almost no calories, it is commonly referred to as a health ally. But there is a hidden truth behind this innocent appearance. Watermelon has an extremely high glycemic index, which means that it causes rapid spikes in blood sugar levels, similar to those caused by industrialized sweets. And for older people, this can be a real blow to vascular health. As you age, your body loses efficiency in regulating insulin, and these spikes of sugar eventually result in inflammation, especially in areas with more delicate circulation, such as calves, ankles, and knees. Imagine you're enjoying a slice of watermelon on a hot day. The taste is irresistible, the freshness is comforting. But behind this pleasurable experience, your body is reacting. Insulin comes into action quickly, trying to contain the sudden high of glucose. However, in aged bodies, this response is less effective. The result? Silent inflammation, which settles mainly on the legs. Do you know that weariness in the calves just after walking? That slight pain when climbing stairs? The strange swelling around the ankles at the end of the day? These are signs that sugar is winning the battle against its circulation. And what looks like hydration is actually slowly wearing down your joints. Watermelon is easily consumed, one slice becomes 2, then 3. But each extra piece is another trigger for discomfort, inflammation, where you believe that you are taking care of your health, but perhaps you are, without realizing it, accelerating the fatigue of your legs. Now, let's move on to an equally popular fruit, often associated with health, immunity enhancement, and the traditional morning dose of vitamin C, orange. Present in juices, breakfasts, and even supplements, oranges have the seal of approval of popular wisdom. But does all this fame live up to reality? Especially when we talk about the health of people over 60? It turns out that the citrus flavor so characteristic of orange hides a worrying factor: citric acid. For those who already face stiff joints, pain in the hips, swelling in the knees, or reduced mobility, regular consumption of orange can aggravate all this. The acid present in the fruit can trigger or intensify inflammatory processes in the joints, acting directly on tissues already weakened by time. You may wake up with locked knees, feel that nagging pain in your legs when you get off the couch, or notice that climbing a ladder has become an increasing challenge. And all this while religiously following the habit of drinking orange juice, believing that it is strengthening your immune system. But behind this routine practice, the fruit acid is entering your bloodstream, and with it, a number of side effects. It mixes with the natural sugars of the fruit, causing glycemic oscillations that generate even more inflammation, not only in the joints, but throughout the body. The result is a constant feeling of heaviness, pain, and stiffness in the movements. And most treacherous is that this effect is subtle and cumulative. Orange may seem harmless, and maybe even is for the younger, but in an older body with sensitive joints and slower circulation, it can become a real catalyst of discomfort. On second thought, maybe it's time to rethink that morning routine that seemed so healthy. And now, let's talk about a fruit that deceives by its look and reputation: green apples. With their clean, crunchy, healthy-looking appearance and low sugar content, they have become a symbol of conscious eating. Many seniors believe they are a safe choice. After all, they are less sweet, look natural, and are often recommended as light snacks. However, behind this vibrant green shell, there is a silent danger. Green apples are a hidden source of discomfort for older people. What many do not realize is that two compounds present in this fruit, malic acid and natural sugar, may be sabotaging the health of your legs, causing stiffness in the knees, hip pain, feeling of muscle fatigue and even night cramps that compromise your rest and mobility. Let's start with the malic acid, responsible for that sour taste so characteristic of green apple. Although it offers benefits to younger and more active metabolic bodies, the scenario changes completely for people with the more sensitive digestive tract, as is common with advancing age. As our digestive system becomes more delicate, malic acid can cause irritation in the intestine and even in the joints. That's right. After consuming green apples frequently, many elderly people report deep pain in the hips, a feeling of heat in their feet or uncomfortable tension in their knees. And this does not happen immediately. It is a process that accumulates day after day, slice after slice, until the inflammation quietly settles in the joints, intensifying the discomforts. You may not connect these symptoms with the apple, but it may be at the root of your daily discomfort. Now let's talk about the second key element, sugar. Although not as sweet as the red apple, the green version still contains a significant amount of natural sugars. And for those who have a slower metabolism, something common after the age of 60, this can represent a real problem. This sugar, when entering the body, causes changes in blood glucose level. The result? You feel fatigue, your calves sway, cramp comes up at night, and there is that uncomfortable stiffness that makes it difficult to get out of bed in the morning. You know that moment when climbing stairs seems like a disproportionate effort? It may be the reflection of your circulation dealing with the constant effects of this sugar. And the most worrisome is that green apples are often eaten raw, as quick snacks, often at night, before bedtime, which exposes the body repeatedly to the same metabolic stress without the person even noticing. The most treacherous in this story is that all this happens subtly. Green apples have such a positive reputation that they are rarely seen as the cause of any problem. But if you have felt joint pain, tired muscles, difficulty walking or more hectic nights, it may be time to look at them more carefully. On the outside, they look like a picture of health. But on the inside, they may be contributing to the silent wear of your body. For young people, they can be a great food booster. For older people, however, this seemingly harmless choice may be locking in movements, hardening joints, and making mornings more difficult. Before you give the next bite, think, is this apple really helping, or just making worse the symptoms that you are trying to combat? Have you ever stopped to think that a seemingly harmless, tropical, and delicious fruit may be undermining your health? Yes, we are talking about the mango. It is juicy, irresistibly sweet, and very appreciated, especially in the summer heat. But there is a secret behind this charming flavor that few people comment on. The mango can be a real trap for those who are over 60 years old. As natural as it may seem, the excess sugar present in this fruit can trigger dangerous reactions in your body, especially in your joints. If you feel pain in your knees, ankles, or legs in general, perhaps you are blaming aging when in fact the villain may be coming straight from your plate. Mango is one of the richest fruits in natural sugar, and the problem is not only sweetness. After age 60, the metabolism slows down and the body becomes less efficient in dealing with spikes in glucose. When consuming mango, especially in large quantities, your body suffers a real impact, an abrupt rise of insulin followed by inflammation, mainly in the tissues around the joints. This can generate symptoms such as burning toes, constant tingling, swelling in the ankles at the end of the day, and even that feeling of heaviness that makes walking difficult. The problem is that, because it seems light and refreshing, the mango is consumed in excess, and the body, unfortunately, does not measure sweetness with taste, but with inflammatory reactions. It's easy to see why so many old people keep eating mango. After all, it's natural. But not everything that comes from nature is safe for all stages of life. The mango, which was once a sweet gift to the palate, can become a silent weight for your weakened legs and joints. What many do not realize is that there are much more beneficial fruits for health after 60 years. Fruits that not only prevent the aggravation of pain, but actively help to combat it. So, if you're starting to notice stiffness when you get up, difficulty walking or swelling in your feet at the end of the day, maybe it's time to change your sleep for alternatives that work for your body, not against it. Let's go to the powerful replacements. Starting with the red fruits, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These little gems of nature have a strong anti-inflammatory effect, combat stiffness, improve circulation, and have low impact on blood sugar. They help you to move with more lightness and stability. Another fruit that deserves attention is cherries. In moderation, they help reduce uric acid in the blood, which decreases the frequency of gout attacks and that annoying pain in the joints. A handful is enough to get relief. How about the avocado? Yes, it is fruit, and one of the best for those who want to protect the joints, thanks to its healthy fats that reduce inflammation and stabilize energy without causing sugar spikes. If you need something softer, try the papaya. This tropical fruit contains enzymes that facilitate digestion and relieve silent inflammations affecting the joints. In addition, pears are great options when combined with a little protein or fiber. They have a slightly sweet taste, provide stable energy, and do not overload your system. These fruits work as true allies of your body. They do not cause swelling, do not inflame your joints, and promote the vitality you are looking for. It's about giving your body the right fuel, one that strengthens instead of wearing out. Eating well is not only to kill hunger, it is to choose aging with autonomy, firmness in the steps, and serenity in the movements. And here is a message especially for you. If you have come this far, it is because you care about your health, with your autonomy, with your future. And I want you to know, it's never too late. Even if you already feel pain, even if the movements are slower, you can still change the scenario. Small decisions made wisely build great results. A traded fruit. A new habit. A better choice. It's not about constraints, but strategy. With attention and right choices, you will feel the body respond. Less pain. More firmness. More safety when walking. That's what you need. And that's exactly what these right fruits can provide. Now I want to hear from you. What was the biggest discovery you had in this video? Which fruit will you prioritize from now on? Comment below, your experience can inspire someone. And if this content has opened your eyes or helped you in some way, click on like and share it with those who need to know. And don't forget to sign up in the channel and activate the bell. This ensures that you won't miss any essential tips for keeping your joints healthy and your mobility protected. Remember, your strength begins with your legs. Take good care of them.